the Court of Appeal taught me a lot about the dynamic of an arbitration with 3 arbitrators. It taught me a lot about how, with 2 other people sitting on a panel, one has to learn, sometimes with some difficulty, to cooperate with them, to harness their skills if one is the presiding arbitrator, and to get the best out of them in a collaborative and collegiate manner. It also taught me the importance of listening to other people's views on a panel and not being too assertive or too tendentious about the views that one happens to have oneself. But it taught me also the advantages and the utility of having 3 people approaching, sometimes from very different viewpoints, a legal problem that has to be resolved. And I think that has been very useful to me in my later career as an arbitrator. Well, of course, there are many qualities that go to build up the pro forma of a successful arbitrator. And again, it would be presumptuous of me, after only 4 years in the business, to attempt to lay down any prohibitive or restrictive rules or any classic blueprint. But in my mind, an arbitrator needs to have patience, courtesy, and consideration for the parties and for counsel. And one should never forget that arbitration can be a very stressful business. But apart from those obvious qualities, to me, an arbitrator needs to be decisive. And it's particularly important given the role that party autonomy plays in arbitration. Of course, the tribunal must listen to the panel. Of course, the tribunal must take into consideration the views of the parties. But at the end of the day, the job, the role of the arbitrator, the role of the tribunal is to decide things efficiently and cost effectively. And sometimes that means not letting things drift on. Sometimes it means taking what might be regarded as tough decisions in relation to procedure. Finally, of course, an arbitrator must have a real understanding of the law and how different systems of law can be applied. Usually one finds that the underlying principles of all legal systems are the same, but they come with many different knobs and bolts attached to them. And I think the ability to understand and apply systems of law that may be different from one's own is a very useful tool for the successful arbitrator. Well, of course, it's important that arbitrators should reflect the diversity in our society, not just in terms of gender, but also in terms of race. Of course, it's important that, in addition, arbitrators shouldn't just come from the old traditional stables, but we should be welcoming into the arbitration community young people who are just starting out on their exciting careers as arbitrators. So I think one can look forward at the present time with confidence. I'm seeing, certainly even in the short time that I've been an arbitrator, 4 years, I can see many more women appearing as lead counsel in commercial disputes. And I can see, I'm pleased to say, more women appearing on arbitral panels. Racial diversity seems to be much better than perhaps in other areas. There seems to, I've certainly sat with arbitrators from many different countries, and it's a privilege and a pleasure to do so. But certainly I think, and maybe I would say this as a woman, young women need to be encouraged to participate as arbitrators, and in particular to learn their trade by appearing as counsel. My advice would be learn as much as you can at each stage of your career. Learn in particular what are good counsel techniques. Learn in particular how to present an argument that is attractive to the tribunal. It's only once you master those skills that you will, I think, understand what it takes to be a good arbitrator. I think that young lawyers need to understand what goes into the dispute resolution work, what goes into the procedures. You need to have not only a real understanding of the legal issues that are involved, but also you need to have the facts at your fingertips. And above all, I would give advice to people who are about to embark. Be brief, communicate clearly, and realize when you've lost a point and move on.